Are you in need of some love advice, money advice, or career advice? If so, simply purchase your reading via irishpsychic.net. Readings are delivered within 24 hours and can give you all the details you require. Tarot, pendulum, crystal ball. The answers all lie within. Readings start from as little as €3, £2, $4. Log on today and see what's in store for you. irishpsychic.net for all your psychic needs.
Check out the weekly rundown with yours truly, the Professor, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here on 102 DLG Radio Orlando.
Listen up, Central Florida. Looking for entertainment for your next children's party? Then we have the entertainment for you. From Jesse the Clown and Friends. That's right, we said it. Jesse the Clown and Friends. Enjoy face painting, balloon animals, magic shows, plus so much more. Let Jesse and Friends entertain your next birthday party. For more information, check out www.jesseclown.com. Again, that is www.jesseclown.com, or call 407-319-1983 and let them know that 102.DLG Radio FM sent you. What are you waiting for? Call them now!
Hey everybody, what's going on? We're going to send us that in memorial to the Indiana Pacers and all the girls that missed their periods. Missed my period. It was 2 weeks late. Now she's all swelled up. Oh my God, I hope it's just water weight. Well, let me ask you just one time, say, I guess you'll say, what could take all of your puffiness away? My doll, just take your my doll, my doll. She's got so much ass packed in the back of her jeans. Biggest crack of booty that I've ever seen. Well, let me ask you just one time, say, I guess you'll say, what could take all of your swelling away? My doll, my doll, my doll. Girl, just take your my doll, my doll. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's right, kids. If you miss it, if you're late, or maybe you got menopause, it's all over now. Have a nice day.
Check us out on iHeartRadio. That's right, I said it, y'all. You can check us out on iHeartRadio each and every single week. Bringing you the best in talk radio, plus bringing you the top 40, bringing you some of the best in dance hits, some merengue, some salsa, and if you're good to us, we're going to bring you some classic 80s. So spread the love, y'all. Let everybody know what's going down. It's happening right here on iHeartRadio at 102.DLG Radio with yours truly, DJ Friktion and the Professor, Michael Benson. It's now time for the weekly rundown right here on iHeartRadio with your host, DJ Friktion, Michael, the Professor Benson, and Kevin, the Iceman. Tapee, don't go anywhere because it's about to go down right now. Yeah, listen to 102.DLG Radio. We are broadcasting live on this very special Tuesday evening. And let me tell you something. You're locked into the weekly rundown, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Is to have my partners in crime, the troublemakers. I gotta watch out for them tonight because they're already on the roll, and we weren't even on the air just yet. Joining me live right now is no other than the Professor Michael Benson, and of course, Kevin, the Iceman Tapee.
Yo, what's happening, everybody?
What's up, guys?
Oh, jeez.
You gotta do it right.
I didn't want to have to pay for it, so I just did it that way.
See, but now you gotta pay Yahoo for using their their little.
What's
Yahoo!
your yodel? What's your yodel?
I don't have a yodel.
It's either Yahoo or Yee-hoo.
It's okay. I'll take a Yee-hoo anytime over Yahoo.
Of a wee-ha. Ha-ha.
Woohoo. Hee-hee.
Ha-ha.
And as Ric Flair would say,
woo! Hey, Kevin, I think you may need to bring down your camera a little bit. Let me just double check your hair for a second.
Myself.
Well, you're good there. Hold on. So maybe on my end. Let me see something. Yeah, I think I got you cropped off a little too much.
You're cropped. You're nothing but crap. I mean crop.
Bring back Mike.
I can fix it. I can do whatever you need to there.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay. We're good. We're back. Alright, guys. So, for that, who are tuning into the broadcast of this very special evening, we got a very special show for you. Very, very, probably going to be a very sensitive subject to many who's going to be tuning into the broadcast. But just please understand, this is for entertainment purposes only. If you guys missed last week's show, we had our should I say, our good friend Mike brought on a very special guest last week. So if you guys missed last week's show, you can go on over to our YouTube channel, and you guys can now check that out, our broadcast. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. What is his name again?
Rick Dyer.
Rick Dyer, that's what it is. Bigfoot
Hunter.
Hunter. Listen, I'm going to get him back because last week he said that I was wearing a gay t-shirt.
You are.
Listen, I'm just saying. I'm not wearing a gay t-shirt this week. I'm actually wearing our radio show t-shirt this week, by the way.
You were wearing one last week.
What? I wasn't wearing the radio show t-shirt last week.
No, you're wearing a gay shirt.
Oh, jeez. Anyways. Just because today talks about gayness and all that stuff doesn't mean that you're going to have to stick typically on top of it. Just saying. Anyway, so how was your guys' week? Kevin, they did anything special?
No, this past week was a pretty good week, Just doing what I do. My son was at Boy Scout camp this week, so I spent a lot of time doing as little as possible, I think. Which was always good.
Yeah, that's true. You need a little time with the family. Especially, especially when the wife is away, the husband will play with his child, of course.
Well, how was your week, DJ?
My week was pretty good. I mean, I got to go. I bought some tickets for me and my mom. My fiance and her mother went, and they joined us to go see I Love Lucy live on stage, which was pretty cool. Lucy home.
You didn't do anybody special?
What's up?
You didn't do anybody special?
I didn't do anybody special. No.
No. Okay.
If I could, I would, but I didn't.
Oh boy, if I could, I would. That means you will if you have the chance.
The lady who played Lucy on stage, she's pretty freaking hot.
Yeah, I saw your eyes.
How did you see my eyes?
I saw them on the picture.
Got the monitors across the way.
I saw them with the picture.
You can't see my eyes. Her name is Thea Brooks. She is freaking sexy.
Did you tell Shakira that?
Well, she knows now.
But they can't get out of that one, buddy.
She'll listen back to the show. It's okay.
Hey. She knows you got wandering eyes.
Well, it's okay to wander the eyes, but as long as you don't touch and disrespect, then you're good.
You don't wander your eyes.
She looks. I don't say nothing.
What does she look at? Girls or guys? The way you put it, it's like she was looking at her too.
Whatever floats her boat. If she wants to look at girls and guys, hey, that's more power to her. Right? I mean, hey, as long as she doesn't touch, she knows where she's coming home to. All of this right here. But I mean, we went to go see Lucy on Sunday. It was a pretty good show. Unfortunately, we're way up in the nosebleed seats, so it was kind of hard to,
What were you doing in the nosebleeds?
Dude, tickets were very expensive even for the freaking nosebleeds. But anyways, it was good. It was fun. Well, did you do anything special, Mike?
No, not really.
Wow, you sound so excited.
No, I guess.
Yeah, I saw you went to the beach. Had your chest all out.
Yeah, you went to the beach, saw a rainstorm.
Saw the muscles.
I saw the nipples. They were hard.
I was popping some shoulder muscles, wasn't I?
It's okay.
Yeah.
I was jealous.
For a so-called old man, I'm in pretty good shape.
That's what we need to do. We need to go to have a beach day. Just all go hang out at the beach.
Yeah.
Have a couple of beers.
Yeah. watch people try to throw me back in. Get him wet! Get him wet!
You're so stupid, guy. All right, so let's go ahead and get into today's very special broadcast. So today's, for you guys who are tuning into the broadcast, you might not be living under a rock. I sure hope you're not living under a damn rock. But what was it? Last week they finally legalized same-sex marriage. What are you guys' thoughts on the whole incident? Finally, you know what? I had a lot of people who were complaining, saying, you know, you can go ahead and legalize same-sex marriage, but you guys can't, give proper health care to those who need it. I mean, what are your thoughts on the whole same-sex marriage? I mean, listen, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, like I said on Facebook, I have friends, I have family members who are gay or lesbian. I don't have a problem with it. And I know Mike has a.
I'm all for same-sex.
Yeah.
If they want to have safe sex too while they're at it, that's great. But the marriage end of it, like I said, it's against my religious beliefs as far as what the belief on same-sex marriage is. If they want to, that's between them. I'm not getting involved. I'm not gonna make a comment on it either way. Nobody told me I couldn't get married, so
yeah,
I guess
that's true.
I guess I have to leave it at that, and
it even goes back to decades and decades and decades of even hundreds and thousands of years ago, where is that your kitty?
You need to quiet your pussy, buddy.
Is that
it is. Jenny. Hold on just a minute. Lock him up.
Lock up the kitty.
Yeah, well, he's not happy with the dinner he got, so he's deciding to express his displeasure. And I'm sitting at a place we ordinarily eat, so he thinks I might actually have food,
food.
He's wrong.
Get him a can of... Give him some fresh tuna fish. He'll like that.
They love tuna.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there who love tuna.
There's a joke there, but I'm just going to let that one slide, man. Now, personally, I kind of look at it this way, It's actually none of my business what people do with their private lives. It really isn't. And, a lot of folks are upset at the Supreme Court because they didn't take into account, people's beliefs in their decisions, and that's not their job. They're not supposed to. The First Amendment has a clause in it that says the government will not establish nor follow a national religion. So therefore it can't take religious feelings, laws, mores, whatever into consideration when it decides a case. Mm-hmm. I had a debate with someone this week on the internet about that, and I said, look, I'm sorry, no matter what you think of the Supreme Court, you can think they're a bunch of crazies or wackos or whatever for their decision, but they did their job, and they did it by the letter of the Constitution, because the Constitution says we shall not establish a national religion, not to be confused with separation of church and state. That's not said anywhere in the Constitution, ever, at all. So there is no such clause. And
what I have a problem with, Kevin, is not the gay marriage factor. Okay? Most people say, oh, you're against it. What I have a problem with is they took the rights of the state away from the state to choose and decide what's going to take place in their state.
However, the Constitution supersedes the states.
I understand that. But to a certain degree, once again, we have too much government involved in everything we do. That's my point.
But you know what, though? I think for the fact is, this has probably made a lot of people really pissed off, or really upset about everything. But at the same time, you got to look at it as, there's been people out there who've been in relationships with the same sex, for years, and and this is going to take another step forward and just helping them complete, their relationship. To take that step forward and get married, which is cool and everything. I don't have nothing against it. Like I said, I can't sit there and I can't talk and say I'm against it and whatever, because I'll just be lying to myself. Because like I said, I got friends and I got family members who I love and support, and if that's who they want to be with, then that's who they want to be with. But this is gonna make a lot of people happy, man, and in a way, this has been long coming.
Well, and the other side of the argument that I think that gets ignored in this is that there was another reason why the gay community needed this ruling, and it was because as a married person, I can qualify for my health benefits through my wife should I not be working, because we are considered legally married. Because let's not kid ourselves, gays have been allowed to marry in civil ceremonies for years, but they haven't been recognized as legal marriages, and that oftentimes put them in a situation where I couldn't put a sick significant other on my health insurance because it's not legal, and the company doesn't have to recognize that, because the company said, look, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, I don't have to put them on it because there's no legal relationship there. So that's why this ruling was also important, because now it gives them legal rights when it comes to things like healthcare. I mean, Mike and I know somebody who, had the two of them been able to get legally married, one of them might have been able to get healthcare that might have saved her life. We don't know.
Exactly.
But that's the other side of this issue that really nobody's discussed, because it's not so much the idea that they can now marry, it's what does that mean? I'll be interested to see when we see the first legalized gay divorce, how that works out. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm really not. But I want to see how that works out when it comes to custody, when it comes to child support, when it comes to all that stuff. I'll be interested to see how that works.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mike.
There's going to be a lot. There's probably going to be an influx of marriage, and there's going to be a mass exodus of marriage within a year to 2 years down the road. You're going to see that take place. It's if you go based on numbers today with heterosexual marriage, you're going to see a heavy divorce rate, possibly even higher. And that's me speaking. I'm just saying. I'm just basing it on a heterosexual numbers.
Yeah, I suppose that's possible. I mean, I don't know. People rush to get married all the time, whether they're gay or not. I mean, I've been married once. You've been married once. So, statistically speaking.
Well, when you're told your whole life you can't do something, it makes it that much more important to do. So once you're able, you jump all over it, and then afterwards you realize that it was for all the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? So I believe that's why what I'm saying is you're going to see a high divorce rate after the marriage rate, and but I'm not a gay male. I'm not into their minds as far as the way a gay man might think. I can speak for a heterosexual male because I live in that world. So it's for me to say what's right, what's wrong. I have no opinion either way, because it doesn't matter what I say, and that's why I'm taking that stance. If I'm for it, it doesn't matter. If I'm against it, it doesn't matter. It's law. So law supersedes everything else. Go ahead now.
Let me ask you this. So what do you guys think? I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of commotion out there, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people in the church who go by the golden rule of the Bible, saying, hey, that's not, it's not right. That's not how it's supposed to be. How do you think this is gonna affect those out there who are trying to? I mean, I'm sure there's families out there right now. There's got to be, out of all the, the billions and billions of families out there, there's somebody that's gay or lesbian or bisexual, whatever it is, in their family. They probably don't agree with it. But how do you think it's going to affect those families who are very into the church scene?
Well, I'll answer that in the easiest way I know how, which is, should it really affect them at all? Because does it affect their lives at all in any way, shape, or form? I mean, when you stop and think about it, I've answered this question a few times from other folks where they're saying, doesn't it bother you? I'm like, no, why would it? Well, doesn't it cheapen your marriage? No, how? If I cheated on my wife, that would cheapen my marriage, not whether Steve and John got married or, Susie and Sharon. It doesn't matter. That doesn't affect my life in the least bit. It doesn't change my faith at all either, because it's still my faith regardless of what happens. So if it affects someone to the point that they're agitated about it, then they really need to look in the mirror and say, what do I need to do to fix this with me? because you can't fix other people, and do they necessarily need to be fixed?
Well, you can look at it. You can look at it on that side. You can look at it this way. On this side of the argument, it's going to be, well, my belief as a Christian tells me that it is wrong. Okay, well, the law says it's right. You're not going to stop that person from believing or not believing what they've learned and felt all their life and for their Christian values and beliefs. So, that being said, now, is that Christian looked down upon because they have a Christian view and belief on that? And I think, yes, they are going to be, because right now it's the going thing, it's the popular thing to be gay and have gay rights and be part of the parade and support that. But yet, if that Christian doesn't support it, now they're just they're to the right, and they you know, they're hateful, and they're this and they're that, and you know, it's gonna create separatism in a lot of ways.
So let me ask you both this. So I know, you know, the U.S. government, they can take, you know, put things into law and they can take things away. Do you think that this whole same-sex marriage thing is gonna last, or do you think it's gonna be pulled?
I think it's a dead issue. I think, you know, that the cat's out of the barn, or the cow's out of the barn, or whatever that saying is. I think it's a dead issue now. And personally, I think if it were me making the decision whether to challenge this or not, I would say, you know what, it's not worth my time and my effort. There are bigger things that need to happen. And again, to those who are gay, who are upset with Christians because they believe a certain way, I would say to them, let it go. Does it affect who you are? Does it affect where you're at in your life? No. People hate people for a variety of different reasons.
Exactly.
And the way you get over hate is to ignore it, for the most part. That's how you get over it.
Well, that's why I said it's going to create a broader separatism of state.
Well, that's only if we allow it. But it's both sides. It's not now. If you're gay and you say it's a Christian problem, they got to work on it. Well, yeah, yes and no. But you also have to work on it. You also have to be proactive in making sure that you're not rubbing salt in their wounds either.
Kevin, I'm being devil's advocate here. I'm looking at both sides, stating that this is how both sides will view things, and this is how it's going to be created. You know,
and that's exactly how it plays out. And I'm going to put the blame squarely where it needs to go, which is it sells newspapers, it sells ad time on TV stations. They live for this stuff,
exactly.
And that's exactly what you're getting. They're going to go out and they're going to find that minister out there who's going to vehemently state, this is wrong, this is the devil's work, this is that, this is whatever. And that's going to be the face of religion, not just Christianity, but of religion, because Christians oppose it, Muslims kill it. So
exactly. And here's my next thought, because it's already fact. Church refuses to marry gay couple. Now, you have separation of church and state. You cannot force that church based on separation of who they can and can't marry, or who they will and won't marry.
Let's back that truck up a bit. Separation of church and state is not an official idea. It's how we assume things, because we don't have the Church of America like they have the Church of England.
Exactly.
So the Constitution doesn't allow for the state to get involved in church business, nor for the church to get involved necessarily in state's business, although it's easier one way than it is the other, because it's very hard for a legislator or senator or congressperson or mayor or whatever to separate from public good versus religious good. I had this discussion again before with someone else about, you can say that the legislator's supposed to go to Tallahassee or Athens or wherever, and they're supposed to have this idea that I can't let my beliefs determine what's good for the people. What else are you supposed to use? What's your common background? Which is why we have Supreme Courts, state Supreme Courts, so that they can step in and say, look, we know what you're trying to do, we understand why you're trying to do it, constitutionally, you can't do it. Now, a church can refuse to marry anyone they want to, regardless. They may look bad in doing it, but they're allowed to do that, because a church could easily say to Louis and Shakira, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to marry you because one of you's been divorced before. I'm not saying you have, because I don't know, but I'm just saying as an example, guys, that they could say, no, you've been divorced before, I'm not going to marry you. Is that discrimination? I don't know, you tell me. But if it were, you know, Susan and Sharon, and we said no, then maybe they could claim that. But the church can do pretty much what they want as long as it's not harming someone else in a physical sense.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of harm, now I understand over the years there's been people who've acted out on people who were gay, lesbian, whatever. Do you think that we may be seeing a little bit more, like crimes and things of this nature?
Dear God, I hope not. I mean,
I don't see that happening, because it's too much of a public issue. There are other issues that we could bring up tonight where I would see that happening. Mm-hmm. This would not be one of them, because I think overall Christian people or people who oppose it or whatever, they're not necessarily the violent type. I mean, I've seen some violence, but that usually comes from a lunatic fringe. I just don't see it.
Gay people aren't bad people. Gay people just have a different sexual preference.
Exactly.
And, you know, and I want to get that out on the table. There's nothing wrong with gay people.
They're just living their life, you know,
a different life. It's a different lifestyle than what I live. Do I like it? It's not my lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But am I against it? That's up to them to decide what they want to do, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I my best friend that I've known for over 20 years, his name is Rick. You know, for many, many years, I thought he was just one of those people who were just out there and just goofy and whatever it was. You know, we did theater and stuff together. And, you know, I would never thought of him of being gay. But I just thought he just had issues. I just thought he was stupid or whatever it was. But when he came out 10 years ago to me, before moving to Florida, he says, you know, listen, I've been trying to hint at you for the longest time that, you know, that I'm gay. And I was like, I said, and he was like, I was just afraid to kind of tell you that, you know, that I'm, you know, this is the way I am. I'm like, frick, why would you be afraid to kind of discuss that with me? Why didn't you come up to me sooner? Like, that's not going to change, you know, our friendship. I mean, he's like my brother or my sister, however you want to put it. But yeah. He's just the same person. I'm still going to love him for who he is.
Well, I wish my sister would have came out to me long ago. I mean, I wouldn't have told my dad. I wouldn't have told anybody else. But I already had those suspicions and feelings that she were.
Yeah.
Just by her you know, the way she acted, mannerisms and everything. That, you know, there's a high possibility there that, yeah. And Kevin, that's not my sister. You know, it's my other sister from New Orleans.
Okay.
That's Mandy, and you know, so. But it's okay, you know. I love her the same. I mean, it's okay.
Well, and that's the point, is that really it doesn't. In all truthfulness, it doesn't matter what I think. It really doesn't. Mm-hmm. You know, I have a right to think what I want to think. It doesn't matter. And in the grand scheme of things, you know, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference in the world at all. I mean, you know, there are still countries where it's not legal, and it probably will never be legal. Mm-hmm. There are still places around the world where if you come out, that might be the last thing you say. You know, call it like you see it. It happens.
That's very, very true. I can see that.
And now what the United States has done, in a sense, is put the rest of the world on notice. What are you going to do about this issue? Because this issue is out there now. What are you going to do about it? Because we've taken a step here in the United States of recognizing this as something that's okay legally to do. And there are plenty of countries who are struggling with the same issue. Do we recognize it? Do we not recognize it? You know, there for a long time, interracial marriage in the United States wasn't legal. And people have used that argument all week. And I said, that's a little bit different. And it's a little bit different because you're not talking about LaToya and LaTonda. You're talking about Reginald and Susie. Mm-hmm. So there's a big difference there. So you can't really use that argument. And, you know, people used to say that was against the Bible, too. I don't know.
You know, and there's gonna be a lot of, like, you know, like I said earlier, there's gonna be a lot of people out there who are gonna be like, that are so deep into religion that they're gonna say, hey, you know what? That's not part of the Bible. The Bible says this, the Bible says that, and this is the way you should be living. And that's gonna always, to me, I think that's always gonna be an issue. There's never gonna be a way to kind of get away from that that type of issue. But I feel bad for the young youth that's out there who are still discovering themselves.
Yeah.
Who are still experimenting with life, who don't know about relationships or how to express themselves, and they may be youth out there who are just afraid to come out and say, hey, you know what, I'm gay, I'm lesbian, or whatever have you, and this is the life that I want to choose to live. So what I'm asking you guys, both of you guys, is what's your opinion to those to help them come out and say, hey, you know what, I'm afraid to express myself, or tell my parents, or tell my family, my friends, you know, the people that I'm close with that I'm gay or lesbian. What would be your advice?
I would advise them to talk to somebody in the community, the gay community, who is gay and open and have come out. And I would expect and hope that person in the gay community reaches out to that person and doesn't try to take advantage of them, but kind of help them decide whether they're gay or not. First of all, when adolescents, they're going through hormones, and a lot of times you think you may be this or that or whatever, and it's just your hormones. You're coming into adulthood, and you're kind of confused. So they need that person to help them with that confusion. But generally, from what I hear, as gay people say, I was born gay. I didn't just decide to be gay. So they already know it. And if that's the case, it wouldn't hurt to talk to somebody who's in the gay community, who's openly gay and who's come out, and maybe help that person transition from that point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it can be a tough thing. Why are you kind of looking for somebody, or?
Yeah. Oh yes, honey. So yeah, I'm actually looking at the chat room over on JustCast right now, and Jim has a very interesting statement that he made. You want to go ahead and read some of that, Kevin?
Hey, Jim.
Sure. Jim says, let's see, anything requiring a license that isn't right. I think the gay community has now been screwed. Just another way for the government to track people. I think there's a whole bunch of different ways for the government to track you. I don't think they need necessarily a license to do that, but it's an interesting point. And then also adds, I will add, every gay person I have known is either missing a father or a very uninvolved father. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. In Jim's experience, it is. In my experience, and I have to be fairly honest, I mean, if I know more gay people than I think I do, it's because, I'm oblivious to this kind of stuff. But the few that I do know very well have had father figures in their lives. So that doesn't hold true for me. But it is an interesting point, is that now, are the fathers missing from a boy's life or a girl's life, or does it really make a difference? That's what I'd want to know about that particular statement, because I could see where in a boy's life it might make a difference.
Well, I don't know about that. I think
you're not there.
I think one of the bigger cases is that they've suffered from some kind of abuse from a male or female in their family or in their life. In that sense. And more so than having a absentee parent, I think it's been more of an abuse factor, especially with young females in sexual abuse within the family.
Yeah,
I've heard that from multiple young ladies, who are gay, who are my students. When I would have to sit down and counsel them and talk to them and help them through issues and stuff. So, I think that could be a major issue, and then young guys, just being abused because they're more of a maybe feminine than they should be, and then they're the verbal abuse that they have to deal with growing up, and I can understand that. You probably see that too.
I mean,
so
you make a good point, and the other thing that comes to mind is there are probably family members out there who are gay. Who try to also hit on their younger nephews or
Exactly.
whatever it is.
Exactly.
And that's hence opens up a new door into their personal life, which, you know, could be very, very controversial and a very emotional one, you know, at that.
Well, you know, I wonder, and I guess we'll find out too now that, you know, it's a little bit, to be gay is a little bit more acceptable and open now than it ever has been, that how many family members or people in families who were never openly gay are going to all of a sudden come out.
Mm-hmm.
And because I would venture to say there's probably one or two gay people in everybody's family and they don't know it. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Jem makes a very, very good point. He says just because a father is there doesn't mean that they're involved in the child's life. He also says goes on to say quality matters, not quantity.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Absenteeism as far as the emotional factor, not absenteeism as in not there. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of mothers, not just fathers, who are absentee parents in the sense of nurturing versus nature. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not a nurturing factor. They never were nurtured themselves. How could they nurture anybody else?
Yeah.
You know, and they lack that ability. And then who suffers? Well, their child does now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that creates a lot of issues growing up. And children are very, very confused for many years growing up because they
don't understand it.
Yeah, and they don't know who they are yet.
Exactly. Hey, Iceman, you were going to say something?
No, I've been pondering a couple of thoughts while Michael's been talking, and you know, I think it's I don't know, it's a bit of a stretch to kind of put an absentee parent as the responsibility for it, because in a way what that does is it makes an excuse for why a person might be gay. I mean, is it possible that they really were gay from the beginning? I mean, is it possible? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what.
No, I'm not.
To say what causes it sounds like it's a disease, and it's not.
No, Kevin, I'm not saying.
I'm just thinking out loud on that, and I'm not saying you were.
No, what I was trying to say was, as far as the absentee parent, where they come into play with this, is what I meant was emotionally, they're absent from the whole nurturing factor with that child. Doesn't mean that child wasn't gay or it would become gay because of it. What I'm saying is,
right,
the child never really has a chance to know who they are yet, and they're not getting any moral support from the family factor as far as their close unit there. That's supposed to be mother, father, son, daughter factor. Mm-hmm. And if there's no emotion within that family and no emotional ties there, because absentee that family member, that mom or whoever they need the most, just can't enthrall that child mentally to give them the support they need and answer the questions that are asked.
I see your point. Yeah.
And really nurture them through what they're going through.
But I mean,
regardless of whether they're gay or not, and if they are, support them. If they're not, support them. Whatever they want to do.
Okay,
there's so much loss there.
So let's just say that something happens to the child, God forbid. How does that kid go to that parent explaining that situation that occurred?
That's the factor.
You know what I'm saying?
What kind of trust do you have built into where you can open up to that parent?
How does a kid understand what's taking place to go to a parent and say, hey, you know, Mom, this is what happened. You know, Uncle Larry, you know, did so-and-so. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the problem. It's probably not going to happen unless they have a good, solid relationship with their family, with their mom and dad. Now, and even then, it may not happen. You don't know how that kid's going to react to anything. You don't know how emotionally balanced that child is, and you can only tell that from the fact that how emotionally prepared are they based on how the parents prepared them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and when you stop and this is a subject for a whole other segment of the show at some point, is the effects of single-parent homes on kids. Is that, you know, statistics show that a lot of teenage moms come out of single-parent homes. A lot of kids that get in trouble with the law come out of single-parent homes. You know, But then again, there are also really good kids that come out of single-parent homes because the parent was smart enough to find another person that they could support, that could help support them, not in a marriage sense or in a relationship sense, but in just as someone their kid could trust. And sometimes that turns out to be a person who is not always prepared to do that, and that's somebody like me in a classroom.
Kevin, in my case, I didn't know my father since I was 2 years old until I was 16. Along the way, my mom remarried a couple times, and I had a bad first stepfather. My second one, that is still my stepfather, Fred, was not there a lot. My mom predominantly raised me as a single parent most of my life. Now, she wasn't always around either. She was working a lot, but she made sure I was surrounded by good people, my godparents, the Locklairs, and I was able to get that family life with my godparents. But yet, with my mom and dad, my mom, until she met my stepfather Fred, did the best she could. But the bottom line is, I could tell my mom anything. My mom made sure that I always knew that it was okay no matter what. Made sure I had everything I needed, and was always there when I needed her. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, emotionally inept. Now we're talking about a woman who never knew her mother. Her mother left when she was a young child. She was in and out of foster homes because my grandfather was a gambleholic, gambled, had bad, lost everything. She'd be in and out of foster homes, and then she was abused by her stepmother severely when my grandfather married his wife. So my mom never had the opportunity to finish school because of all that. Now, I could have turned out totally different because she was a single mother growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, and she was just never really had a mother or that parent. But I believe it's all how you pull yourself out of it, is how you take that within. It's got to be from within.
Yeah. To
change your upbringing, your childhood, and not let that affect you in your adulthood, right?
That's true. And that's very true.
And then that's how we have to pass that on to our children, to give, and what I feel sometimes is, I think parents they go over and above what they should, exceeding and spoiling that child because of what they didn't have, instead of giving them a core upbringing based on what they need, not what they want. And
that's very true, because I can say from my point of view, I want for my son what I didn't have as a kid.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to buy him the Xbox 360 he wants. Don't think you're going to get it if you're listening.
Well, thank God you're not my father.
That's right. You better buy that for him.
But and of course, my statement about single parent homes was just a statistical point of view, because for every one that you can find that's bad, you could probably find one that's good, because they are out there. But and Jim asked a really good question in the chat room, which was, going back to our original topic, how much of this is media driven? I mean,
all of it.
How much of this are we seeing? Because again, my personal feelings aside, I wasn't exactly thrilled that the White House was lit up in rainbow colors. I wasn't exactly thrilled about that, because to me, that's rubbing salt in the wounds of the people who don't agree with it, which isn't forwarding your initiative. It's only making more people more upset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think the White House should be for all the people all the time, not for some of the people some of the time.
I think
putting the guy that's in there, because he told a heckler, "This is my house."
Listen, I mean, the White House. Listen, it's a landmark. I didn't agree with it either. I think if they wanted to show their support, they could have did it in a whole different way. Not use the White House as that spotlight.
The backdrop, yeah.
The backdrop. I mean, show your support in other ways. Put up billboards.
Don't show me a gay rainbow flag with my stars on it.
Oh yeah.
That just sent me over the edge.
Yeah, I saw one of those this week that had that had the rebel flag background with the rainbow, and then in the center of the flag it had a swastika, and underneath it was, "I'm just going to piss everybody off."
Yeah. I saw that one. And then the last one I saw today that really set me off on, my social media rant was the U.S. flag, and it shows all the stars. The box, corner, cut, and it's got the stars and everything, and all the rest of the flag is a rainbow. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? I was already pissed about the Confederate flag.
Listen, and that's another thing I want to get into this show too, if we can, is this Confederate flag nonsense. But let's just go ahead and wrap this up, this part of the segment. But listen, you guys need to understand, parents are very, very important. It's very, very, very important for a parent to be in a kid's life. Some people have that option. Mm-hmm. Some people do not have that option. And I'll be honest with you, I got 2 kids, and I don't have that option with my son's mother because, we've had our falling out, and it's a tough thing. It's a very, very tough thing to deal with. And, yes, it could be a very serious point where if a parent's not in their child's life, they could make their own choices in life on, who they want to date, how they want to live their life, how they want to portray themselves. Media is a huge part, I think. Reality TV, the stupid stuff we see on TV, I almost caught myself, the stupid stuff we see on TV.
Well,
it's just...
I'm 50. I'm tired of people telling me how I need to act.
Yeah.
Or how I should act. Mm-hmm. Or how I should do this, or how I need to do this. Mm-hmm. I'm really, really getting
on edge.
To that point where I'm just really looking at people saying, really?
Hey, you know what? That brings up a very interesting subject concerning our program. There's things that we do on this program people are not going to like. We understand that.
Exactly.
This is a broadcasting network. I'll be honest with you, Tuesday nights we're not edgy all the time, but there's going to be times where we kind of just go out there and things are said, and our guests are going to say certain things is going to rub people the wrong way, and that's okay. But in reality, this is kind of a business. This is kind of a hobby, or however you want to call it for us. We kind of need to be that role model for those out there.
It's beyond a hobby now. It's
yeah, exactly. But we're doing it. We like to have fun.
Well, we should have.
We like to have a lot of fun, and like I said, it's going to rub people the wrong way. And if it does, we do apologize. And if it turns you out to want to not listen, that's okay too. If we bring you in, you enjoy what we do here, then that's amazing. Keep tuning in and spread the love.
What I would like to add to this is, when you start paying us to broadcast on the air for you, and you start donating major dollars to our program, then we will change our venue as how we act and what we do and what we say. Until then, until we are so supported by our listeners, we can't do that.
I mean, honestly, and I said this plenty of times before, I pay out of pocket for all the broadcasting.
Exactly, and that's my point. Until people want to start coughing up some dough and donating to our website and going to our page and donating money and having to say kind of what our whole genre and what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, then really, we love to have you listen. We love to see you come on every Tuesday night. And as DJ said, we're going to say things and do things you may not like, but we're not doing it so you won't listen. It's just how it is at night. There's as everything else we've been talking about, everybody has different views and opinions on what we do.
And that's the reason why we're on at the time that we're on, because we have a bit more leeway to saying what we want to say. Exactly. And again, if we offend anybody, we do apologize. That's not our intentions. We're here to have fun, and we want you to come along for the ride. We're gonna bring guests on the show, and sometimes we just don't know what they're gonna say, what's gonna come out of their mouth. things happen. And we're just leaving it at that.
Pretty much everybody who knows me for who I am knows that I pretty much say what I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
that is what
straightforward.
it is. And Kevin, I don't know if you want to chime in here and give your opinion on it.
Please do, Kevin, because you're part of this show. We would
you're part of this team, dude.
I understand, and anybody who's listening anywhere today, tonight, wherever you are, because there are people that listen to us where it's the middle of the night, and there are people who are listening to us where it's 4 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon or wherever. We're going to talk about topics that may not always sit right with you. Hopefully we do it in such a way that at least we come off as intelligent. That would be nice. But we're not gonna come out to try and offend you. That's not what we do here. So if you are offended, again, we're sorry. But on the flip side of it, we're not going to go out of our way to offend you.
No, and that's not our intentions. We're not here to offend anybody. We're here to educate you guys. We're here to have fun. We're here to bring you guests. Our guests are not always going to be appropriate. We don't have control of that. We do mention to them
that non-appropriateness and some of the other stuff. We can try to channel down a little bit. But listeners, understand, the biggest shows we have are those edgy shows. The biggest shows we have is whenever we talk about sexual content, period.
When we talk about, Kevin walking around in his thong out there waving his sign saying, "Hey, vote for me." Hey, it's all in good fun.
That would be a great way to lose an election. Throw him back!
And it's true. Jem says it is real life. Real life is controversial.
That's it.
It can be, yeah.
And it's just part of life, guys. And you just got to understand, hey, we're here to have fun. We're here for the long haul. We wouldn't be on this. I wouldn't be on the air together as a family with Kevin and Mike being on the air for 5 years, man. We had people come and go. Some people probably found the show edgy. They couldn't deal with the craziness, and that's okay. It's fun.
I know. I've been such an influence on DJ, and
oh jeez,
Kevin was such an exaggerated influence on me for a long time. So yeah, friends in low places, drunk in the saloon, and all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, but you got to bring everything that's in your life out on the air into the show. Howard's, for all those people who don't like Howard Stern,
he's one of the biggest hits out there right now.
Howard Stern on talk radio when he first started out was what made the difference for talk radio. I mean, really. He said what he thought. He did what he thought. He was crazy. He's out there. He's, way, way out there. And he doesn't... I mean, who could talk about farts on a radio show and having somebody laying down on a pillow blowing farts and get 5 million listeners to listen? I mean, really?
Let me tell you something. I want to explain to people real quick, too. The reason why I do this show is not only for entertainment purposes, but I do this show because, there's a lot of programs out there that just suck balls. And I'm sorry. There's programs out there that is just, I don't know how they get these TV deals or whatever, these radio deals, and I'm just looking at them like, are you freaking kidding me now? Like, how did you get in this spot? I'm doing this to entertain you guys, bring you something a little bit different. And whether it's we got to be a little bit edgy, if we got to be appropriate, we got to educate you, however it is, we're going to do what we need to do to keep you guys listening. And my vision for this radio network that I started years ago is to one day have Mike go off and do his own radio program and to have Kevin go off and do his own radio program. But we're still working together as a team, slowly bring in other people to have their own radio networks. That's our focus, you know what I mean? And we want to expand on that. And within doing that, we want to be able to earn your trust. And we want you guys to keep supporting us and keep following us. God damn it! Donate to our program!
Well, hopefully when you walk away from the program, you have respect that we are who we are, and we're not faking you out. That's exactly. The big thing, is do you believe what we're telling you? I mean, we may not always have the right answers. We may not always have the right opinion according to you. We may not always be, saying what you want us to say, but you're getting who we are.
I'm not what you would call an on-air personality. who, if you saw me in the streets and you came up and approached me, I would be a totally different person. I'm not that way. I would be the same person.
He'll be the biggest prick ever. I'm just kidding.
Well, I'll be what you want me to be, but I'll be me, and I'll be true to who I say I am.
And the thing is, we're really genuine. We're really the coolest people that you can talk to. We're those people out there. If you guys need advice on something, if you guys need help on something, we're those type of people who would be out there to assist if we could. And that's just who we are. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, pay some bills with our sponsors, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about the freaking Confederate flag for a few minutes. Kevin is waiting for this. So, guys, we'll be right back right after this. Y'all don't go nowhere. 102 DLG Radio. You're listening to the Weekly Rundown with the Professor Michael Benson, the Iceman Kevin Tapee, and yours truly, DJ Friktion. We'll be right back right after this.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move.
When you have a great melody, a song can last forever.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes boom.
iHeartRadio is the way I get to you.
The biggest songs, the biggest artists,
all in one place.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
Today's show is brought to you in part by our great friends at Amazon.com. Get all your latest gadgets, appliances, and so much more. For those special deals, head on over to our official website, www.102DLGRadioOrlando.com, and click on the Amazon icon today and get your special deals today. Wirecast is an all-in-one software solution. Telestream Wirecast enables capture, live production, and encoding for live streams in one cost-effective, flexible software solution. Reliable and stable, backed by a company with more than 10 years. That's a decade of video and encoding experience. Wirecast is trusted to all customers. Most critical broadcasts, extensive capture support, capture from a wide range of sources including multiple cameras, computer desktops, capture cards, and other devices such as Teradek, Cube, and more. Powerful live production capabilities switch between multiple cameras and add video, audio, graphics, slides, text, titles, transitions, and more. Wirecast supports for multiple formats. Stream live or archive to Flash. The best part about Wirecast is that it also cross-platforms to Mac and PC. I'll say it again. The best part about Wirecast is that it cross-platforms to Mac and PC. Head on over to our official website, www.102DLGRadioOrlando.com, and click on the Wirecast Telestream logo today and get your free trial at Wirecast. That's right, guys. Get your free trial at Wirecast, and if you enjoy it, then hey, go ahead and purchase it. We have been so happy with the product, and you will be too. Head on over to our official website and get Wirecast today.
From this weed there came a flower. You left me in my darkest hour, so I grow. No, I've grown up. but I'm not bruised. And my tears fell on the seed of truth, and the fire made it fertile, so the flower grew and it bloomed. Yeah. And it's beautiful. And these 2 footsteps of mine are the only ones you'll find behind me. And the tears and the glory help me see things a little bit more clearly. I thought that I had it all down, but I never expected things to turn around. And oh, I was good back then, but I'm much better now. Hey, yeah. Now, I was told before it wouldn't be easy, but I never thought it'd happen so fast. But since winter's doing the right thing, make you have to change everything. I know I'm a star, I know I'm a star. I don't even know who you are. And these 2 footsteps of mine are the only ones behind me. And these 2 footsteps of mine are the only ones you'll find behind me, yeah. And the tears and glory helps me see this a little bit more clearly. I felt things start to spin around, so I planted my 2 feet on the ground. And I know I was good back then, but I'm much better now. Watch out, 'cause things will turn around, they're gone. Turn around, they'll take you inside out, upside down. Girl, watch out, turn around.
Yeah, some Carly Joe Jackson for you with Clearly. Check her out on YouTube, guys. She's one very talented young lady. We're trying to get her on the show, but she's been very, very busy, so we'll see what we can try to do. But in the meantime, guys, you're listening to the Weekly Rundown with yours truly, DJ Friktion, the Professor Michael Benson, and of course, Kevin, the Iceman, Tapee. And now it's time to get into some more controversial stuff, and I'm going to let you guys go ahead and take this next segment. So go ahead, guys.
Mike, you start this one, please.
No, you go for it.
Alright, so if you've been following the news, and if you haven't, then I'll fill you in. I guess it was, about a week and a half ago? There was a church shooting in Charleston, South Carolina, where 9 members of one of the oldest Methodist churches in Charleston were shot and killed by a young person. I hesitate to use the word man because I don't think he really is one, but he went in and prayed with them, had a prayer service with them, and then got up and shot and killed 9 of them. And in the subsequent hours and days afterwards, we learn a little bit more about this guy, and come to find out he's, got white supremacist tendencies and had been seen in a photograph with what I will call, I'm not going to call it the Confederate flag because that's not what it is. It is the Army of Northern Virginia battle flag, which is the stars and bars. If you've seen Dukes of Hazzard or anything like that, you know what that flag looks like. It's a St. Andrew's cross on a field of red. The St. Andrew's cross is blue. It has trimmed white edges to the blue St. Andrew's cross, and it has 13 white stars, which represent the 11 southern states plus Kentucky and Missouri. Kentucky did not secede from the Union, and neither did Missouri. However, Missouri and Kentucky were both slave states. So that's what that flag represented. Now, there's a flag that sits on a war memorial across the street from the South Carolina State House that has, in the wake of this event, people have been asking to have that flag, the battle flag of Northern Virginia, taken down, and there are some who've been calling for it to be banned. There are others that are calling for every building in the U.S. that has the name of a Confederate to be changed and removed. So that's where we sit right now. And the concept is that people out there are being led to believe, and I'm saying led to believe because this is media driven, and Jim wanted us to get to this earlier, and I'm getting to it, but it's media driven that people who support that flag are naturally racists, and I don't think that's necessarily true, because you can't tell me why I support a flag or why I don't support a flag. You can't tell me why I support the American flag or why I don't. You just can't, because that's inside my head. But what makes you better than the guy that walked into the church and shot someone if you are out calling someone something and you don't know if that's who or what they are? The only thing that separates you is you didn't act on it and kill that person. He did. That's what separates the two of you. So you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful. And if they were really interested in removing the Confederate flag from state houses, they would start looking at Georgia. Their flag is a very close resemblance to the actual Confederate States of America flag. They would look at Mississippi, that has both, and then they would look at South Carolina, which still utilizes a banner that looks a lot like the Confederate States of America. So it's hypocrisy, is what it is.
Okay, so I got a very good point. Now, that's a really good point that you brought up concerning this whole Confederate flag issue. So they're pulling the flag down because of this issue that took place, this incident that took place in the church.
Correct.
So, would it be right if every single day an American's killing each other, shouldn't the American flag be pulled down?
Well, here's something, and I'll tell you a story. And in the opening, before we started talking on live air, I told you a story about a friend of mine who went to Vicksburg. Now, in case you don't know, and a lot of people don't, because they just don't teach Civil War history anymore, because it's controversial, it's not popular, and frankly, people would rather have it put behind them. Vicksburg was a battle that took place in 1863. It was a siege. Grant laid siege to the city, and eventually the battle was determined on July 4th of 1863. And one of my friends, his ancestor, passed away at Vicksburg in the Louisiana Redan, passed away of disease, and he goes every year and visits the gravesite of his ancestors. Well, this year, while he was doing that, a lady walked by and muttered under her breath, "Racist." And he turned and said to her, "Am I racist because of the flag I support?" And she said, "That flag is racist, and therefore you are a racist." And he looked at her and said, "I'm half Cherokee. What do you think your flag means to me?" And he brings up a good point. Because to a Native American, the American flag ain't exactly the symbol of freedom and hope, is it? Now, that's not to say we should take it down to make somebody happy. I'm saying what we need to do is educate why that represents what it does to certain people. That's what we need to do. Because, I'm sorry, this nation was founded on the rights of free speech, freedom to do what you want as long as you're not killing somebody else to do it. So that's my take. I mean, I've got more, but I'll let Mike talk.
Well, and that is so true. Today it's the Confederate flag. Tomorrow it's the U.S. Stars and Stripes, right?
And then next week it'll be the Puerto Rican flag.
Well, the Puerto Rican flag is I mean, everybody flies it, in their windshield. So, because I'm not Puerto Rican, do I have the right to tell somebody to take their Puerto Rican flag down? No. You're not Confederate. You weren't born in the South. Can I tell somebody they have a right? They don't have a right to believe that the flag stands for what it does? No, and I'm not saying you can't believe what you want to believe. I'm just saying stop taking it out on a flag. The flag has nothing to do with what I believe or don't believe as far as racism goes, or what took place in the past. And I wish people would start living in the present and stop living in the past. You can't change the past, but you can change the future and now. Meaning, what took place in the past is why we are what we are today. It is why we are where we are at today. So, if we want to move forward, we need to move forward in the right way and stop with all this hate of everything, and taking it out on, you got to pull the flag down. I mean, are we the flag police now? Or are we the racial police now, or are we the you're the wrong color police, or are we the you're gay police? I mean,
or you're in
really?
the wrong neighborhood. What I mean?
Yeah. What's it going to come to? It's got to stop.
Well, and here's the thing, and the argument I've heard all week is that, you know, the war was about slavery. This was what the war was about, and slavery was certainly a component of it. But there were many other issues involved. And people all week in a history forum I belong to have been saying, well, Confederate soldiers fought to preserve slavery. I'm like, we don't know that. We don't know why they fought. You know, we have no idea. Unless they wrote it or kept a journal, we have no idea why they fought. Why they fought was personal to them.
Exactly.
Did some of them fight to preserve slavery? Yeah, I'm sure they did. Did some of them fight to make sure that the black man stayed in their place? I'm sure they did. But what that doesn't explain is there are Native Americans who fought for the South who said, look, this is my chance to get back at my oppressor, which was Washington, D.C. Then there are also people who fought because you were invading their state. Okay? There are we don't know why the majority of soldiers in the Civil War fought, both North or South. We don't know. Because the Irish certainly didn't fight because they had a love of slavery or a hate of slavery. The Irish fought to prove that they belonged here. And that's in their letters. That's what they wrote. That's what they said. They said, we want to prove that we belong in America, and the only way we can do that is to fight and die for the country that we've adopted, or that has adopted us. Had nothing to do with the noble gesture of ending slavery. So anyone who says to you that the majority of Southern soldiers fought to preserve slavery, or the majority of the Northern soldiers fought to end slavery, they don't know what they're talking about. Have them show you in historical documents where that's true. Because it's not. You can't find that anywhere. Believe me, I've done the research. And to prove that I've done the research, I had a discussion online today with one of Mike's friends who, in the end, admitted, thank you for coming back at me with facts rather than just more stuff. And I told Charles I was going to admit something on the air tonight, and I hope he's listening. I really do hope he's listening. There is a county in South Carolina called Newberry. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with it, Mike, or not. The Newberry Courthouse selected a person to sign the orders of secession for the state of South Carolina. The person they selected to sign the orders of secession for the state of South Carolina was a man by the name of Simeon Fair. Simeon Fair and I are related. Simeon Fair owned slaves. Am I proud of that? No. But there again, what can I do about it in the year 2015? But he was selected to go secede South Carolina from the Union. So if there's anybody that has a claim to the Confederate flag, it would be me. My view of it is it's a historical banner. There are people who feel that represents their dead ancestors. Who am I to say they can't put it at the graveside of their dead ancestor? Does that make them a racist? No. My relative owned slaves. Does that make me a racist? No. My relative signed to secede from the Union. Does that make him a racist? I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't talk to him. I can't tell you that. I don't know. So, and again, where does it end?
Well, it ends. It should be ending now. I mean, it's time. Everybody has a past, and when I say a past, we all have ancestors. And I bet there's a lot of you out there who would not be proud, or you may be proud. You don't know unless you do the research of what they did or what they stood for. But what I can say is they got this country to where it is now, regardless whether it was good or bad.
Right. I mean, I wish I could look at you and tell you that my ancestor was Dwight Eisenhower. I mean, I wish I could tell you that, but I can't. I wish I could tell you that my ancestor was, a famous poet or something. I can't do that. But the argument that I've heard all week is that if it makes one person feel good about themselves, then we should remove it. Well, if that's the case, what are we left with? What are we really left with? We're left with nothing, because everything will offend somebody somewhere along the way. And I don't agree with wasting money. Now I'm going to go to money. The money is that if you were to go and change the name of every single building, place, street, whatever that's named after a Confederate in this United States of America, you would spend more money that could be used on solving racism somehow or another, ending poverty, helping boys and girls clubs, whatever. I mean, let's put it this way. 2 years ago, the city of Jacksonville, Duval County School Board spent $400,000 to change the name of Nathan Bedford Forrest High School. For those of you who don't know who Nathan Bedford Forrest is, he was a Confederate cavalry general in the Western Theater, which would be Tennessee, Mississippi, Western Alabama. He was also one of the founding members of the Ku Klux Klan. Now, I agree, naming a school after Nathan Bedford Forrest probably wasn't the best choice, and changing the name was not a bad idea. However, that $400,000 could have put a laptop computer in front of every single student in Duval County, or nearly every single student in Duval County could have had access to a laptop with that money. So stop and think about that for a minute. Well, maybe not every single one, but at the very least every high school. So we need to really think about that before we... And besides, is taking down the flag going to fix poverty? Is it suddenly going to close the education gap? Is it suddenly going to make every kid who has an issue in life somehow able to solve it? Is that going to solve anything? No. A little fired up, can you tell?
Yeah, just a little bit. Jem says, did you see the guy who tried to get a Confederate flag cake at Walmart? He says they wouldn't do it. So he went ahead and got an ISIS flag cake. He says just a little confusing.
I want to jump in on that one because I made a point that was highly unpopular with that. I get why that happened because, I'm sorry, I used to work at Walmart. I know those people aren't up on different events, and the ISIS flag is not something you see every day in front of you. So for that poor Walmart associate who made that cake, I feel bad for him because they got duped. Because this guy went in to cause a problem. That's what he went in to do. And it's people like that that are giving the Battle Flag of the Northern Virginia a bad name. It's idiots like that who go in trying to show somebody up who's drawing attention in a spot that it shouldn't be drawn. And that's what I was mad about with that.
Well, you have idiots all over. You have a lot of ignorant people out there. And, you know, that's what you get from all that ignorant behavior. And then once again it gets isolated into a large isolation factor. Then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's on Facebook, and then it's on social media, and that's how this crap gets blown out of context many times, is because one person does what he did.
Jem says, true, but should you not be able to buy anything that you would like on your cake?
Well, and let's put it this way. As a business person, you have the right to accept business from wherever you want it as long as you're not discriminating against race, religion, or now sexual orientation. So, well, yeah. So, sure, think of it this way. If you walked into a Walmart and asked them for a cake in the shape of a male appendage, chances are Walmart would not make it because they just wouldn't. But sure, should you be able to go in and buy a Confederate flag cake? I don't see why not, but Walmart has taken a very public stance and said we're no longer going to sell that flag. It has nothing to do with social good citizenry. It has everything to do with coming out on the right end of an issue. That's what it has to do with. Walmart knows where their bread is buttered on. I'm sorry. Walk into a Walmart anytime. Look at the clientele in a Walmart. I mean, they know what supports them. And I'm sure if you go to a Walmart, say, in Greenville, South Carolina, you might still be able to find one. But publicly, they're saying we're not going to sell it anymore because it looks good.
See, listen, you know what irritates me the most about this whole situation is the fact that, listen, the American flag, the Confederate flag, they're icons. We see them everywhere. And when I heard that they were taking it off the old Dukes of Hazzard car, what is it called?
The General Lee?
The General Lee. I said that it's not a General Lee anymore. It's not an icon car anymore.
Well, you can't even put General Lee on there because that's offensive to some people. So why not just stop making the thing? I mean, the guy Ben Jones, the guy that was Cooter on Dukes of Hazzard, runs the store where he sells the stuff. I mean, you know, what he feels in his heart about what that battle flag represents, that's what it represents to him. You don't have to shop in his shop. You don't have to agree with him. But you know what? He lives in America where he has the right to sell it. I mean, and when you stop and look at it, the swastika is not banned in the United States. If we're going to ban symbols of hate, then let's get started.
Yeah.
We got quite a few, and by the time we're done, we're going to have a cellophane flag.
Exactly.
And Jem makes a great point right now. He says, well, maybe we should just paint everything black and white and have no symbols of anything of any kind.
I'm sorry, but what about Asians who don't necessarily represent themselves as black or white? What about Hispanics who don't represent themselves as black or white? I mean, seriously, you can't even do that. That's why I'm saying cellophane, clear, see-through. Nothing to it. Nothing to it. What I'm saying is that as a nation, we need to stop being offended and start solving problems. Because you know what? Being offended doesn't solve anything. It doesn't. I'm sorry. I get offended by stuff all the time. But you know what? I got to learn to let it go and figure out, okay, how do I solve this? How do I fix it? What do I need to do? Because the problem isn't bigger than me. The problem is me. I need to figure out how to fix it.
Well, Jem says he didn't mean it as a skin color. He's meant it
I know
as...
what he meant. I know what he meant. I was just going there because...
He's spicy tonight!
Somebody went there with me this week, so I went there.
You know, it's funny you said about Cooter, because I believe in the Seminole Town Center Mall over here in Sanford, Florida, everybody has pulled the the Confederate flag memorabilia and stuff. But there is one store, I believe, still in the Sanford Mall that still exists and will sell and does sell Confederate everything.
So
here's how nuts we've gotten with that. The Gettysburg National Battlefield, Gettysburg, hello, they fought a battle from the war there, is now not selling Confederate flag memorabilia. It's a battlefield where it happened, folks. Really?
So, let me ask you guys. So, is this whole Confederate flag thing being pulled down? Is it being said by the government? Hey, listen, the government, no more Confederate flags, pull them down? Type of thing? Or is it just...
Here's what's happening. Look at what we're in. The year is 2015. What happens next year?
Election.
An election happens next year. So, what happens is you have all these people looking to make political hay. And one of the ways they can do it and appeal to a mass group of people is to take a hot-button issue and come down on the right side of the issue. This is all being politically and media-driven. It has nothing to do with the flag at all. It's detracting us from the real issue, which is we do still have a racial problem in the United States. We still have it. And I don't want to sound like Negative Nelly, but I think we're going to have one for a very long time. Because it's going to take both sides of the aisle willing to come across it and meet each other somewhere in the middle and say, okay, how can we stop ticking each other off? How can we start making fences? Because you know what? There's a good phrase, united we stand, divided we fall. And that statement is no more true than it is here in the United States. Because we came together in 1941, thankfully, because where would we be if we hadn't come together as a nation? We came together in many other situations where we needed to. We even came together in 1964 when Johnson passed the Equal Rights Amendment. We came together. Granted, some people didn't like it, but I think it's turned out pretty good. You know, I think we still have a lot of work to do, but we're not going to get that work done if we're worried about some thread hanging from a flagpole, people.
Exactly. And Jem brings up a good point. He says, Iceman just nailed it. He says, it all boils down to personal choice. He says, what do you do to solve my issue? So my question to you guys are, what's going to happen to those who are not abiding by the law of pulling down the Confederate flag? That says, you know what? This is what I stand by. I'm going to hang this flag in my yard.
And there's nothing that says you can't. There is no law that says you can't right now. The only thing is that if you're a public building, which I agree with, I agree 100% with a public building, you shouldn't hang it from a public building, which is why I think the state of Mississippi, even the voters approved it, needs to rethink themselves, because it sends us back to an era we don't need to live again. We don't ever want to live that again. But if you want to, in your yard, put up the flag, fine. You may have to put up with people walking by calling you a racist even though they don't know you. But then you can just look back and go, well, I think you're ugly, and I can always take down the flag.
Mike, you got anything?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go out there and buy a British flag and hang it.
Well, and you know, this whole argument has started a whole firestorm of people looking at every state flag and finding somehow how it fits with whatever. I mean, somebody, an editorialist for the Washington Post the other day wrote an article, and he put the 5 Southern flags that are Confederate flags in disguise. And I got a laugh out of it. And then I had to send him a 5-page rebuttal to his idiocy online, which was, he said, the state of Florida. The state of Florida's flag is a Southern flag, is a rebel flag. And I laughed, and I said, I'm sorry, it's the Cross of Burgundy from the Spanish Empire of the 1500s, with the spikes taken off, made into a St. Andrew's cross with the state of seal on it. Doesn't have anything to do with the Confederacy. Get a grip. Get a grip. Let's stop looking at pieces of thread and start looking at issues. But that's not going to happen because it sells newspapers. It creates stories. It makes people mad. It made me mad, and it takes a lot to get me mad. I'm mad about an issue I shouldn't be mad about.
Well, you don't have to look very far. There's a racist behind every corner. I mean, all you have to do is look. And I think that's where the problem comes in. Everybody's constantly pointing a finger, this is racist, that's racist. But, you know, truly, there's a racist around every corner.
There is. I mean, we're
surrounded by it all over the place.
I listened to an audio clip of Louis Farrakhan speaking to a large group of his followers, and he was talking about, you know, it's not about the Confederate flag because it stood over oppression for only 5 years. The flag we really need to get rid of is the one hanging over the Capitol building right now, because it still stands over oppression. And I'm thinking, dude, you have a captive audience where you could do some good, but instead you're spreading more hate. How does that solve anything? How does that solve a thing? It doesn't. Is it going to make that poor black kid in a poor neighborhood, is it going to give him a chance of success if that flag comes down, or is it going to give him that success by you talking that way? No. What's going to give him a chance of success is spending our energy finding ways to help all people succeed and exceed and excel.
Well, go mentor. Farrakhan needs to go mentor that young black child in that neighborhood trying to get out of poverty and help him and show him how he can do that versus slandering and trying to keep him in oppression, because that's what he's doing. To raise his rhetoric value, he keeps him in oppression by doing so. And that's wrong in itself. That, you know, it's and I could have a long discussion on this, but the problem with society today is we're so gallant to point people out for their faults instead of pulling them up and raising them up out of their wrongdoing, or maybe showing them the light, or giving them an opportunity to show who they truly are or could be. And the only way that takes place is mentoring and showing them what they're doing is wrong and this is how you do it right. And the only way to really attack that is getting the children at an age before they get to that point and teaching them. But, you know, once again, you know, we talked about it already, absentee, you know, families, you know, parents aren't parenting it anymore, and it's going to all come down to that.
I mean, Jem says, you know, I would say it's larger than just racism. It's about those who feel they're better. They're better humans because of their color, religion, race, sexual preference, and it goes on and on and on. And I would agree with that. I'll tell you a story of a little kid I used to teach here in town, and I was excited to work with him because I had heard a lot of good things from his teachers about him. A bright young man. You know, his teachers spoke really highly of him, and I started working with him and realized fairly early on that this kid didn't like me. And I thought, okay, what have I done to him? So I said, you know what? Don't worry about that. Just keep working with him. Keep doing what you do. Finally, he told me, he said, look, I'm not going to trust you, dude, because my mother and my father told me I'm not to trust white people.
Wow.
I was pretty floored by that. And I said, you know what? I'd like to be the white person that makes you see. I said, I'd like to be the person that would show you it's okay to trust people. There are plenty of people out there you shouldn't trust, and not all of them come in white. Some of them come in other races, you know, and that's an isolated case. It doesn't happen all the time. But at the end of the year, this kid still didn't trust me. But I can't override what's been done at home. And that's where it starts. That little kid that goes into school and calls the kid sitting next to him the N-word, he learned it from somewhere. He learned it at home. He didn't learn it from the kid sitting behind him. He learned it at home. Now, my son comes home and says, what is the N-word? I know he learned it at school because he ain't sure as heck didn't hear it here. And he sure as heck ain't going to call anybody that. So, you know, it starts at home. And unfortunately, what's happening around the dinner tables of America, if people even eat there anymore, is that we're spreading this crap. We're taking it like peanut butter and spreading it on thick because that's what happened to us. I mean, you know, it's just no getting away from it.
And it's just stuff like this. You know, people's insecurities and being so damn freaking naive and being idiotic with the stupid fucking freaking comments. Excuse my language. With the freaking comments saying, you know, being so racial and so sexual. And I have to agree with Jem 100% what he said in the chat room about the whole color, religion, and, you know, race, sexual preferences. It just irks the crap out of me to see people out there, and it's true. In this real world, these are people that we live with. And we have to deal with the stupid, idiotic people. And Jem says the F word is just a word.
Jem doesn't know about the conversations we've had off air about this one. But anyway, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's just, to me, it's asinine that in 2015 we're still worried about something that ended 150 years ago. I mean, really? Abraham Lincoln said it best when, and I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have the quote in front of me, you know, the folks up north were calling for, they were howling for Lincoln to punish the South when the war was over. They were absolutely howling for him to lower the boom on the South and make them pay and hold them accountable. And his statement was, what would that accomplish? At the end of the day, we're all Americans now. We need to start acting that way, and we need to start working toward the common good of the country. And he pardoned nearly every Confederate with the exception of two, which would be Robert E. Lee and Jefferson Davis. Those are the only two he didn't pardon. Everybody else, all they had to do was take an oath to the United States, and they were forgiven of their, well, for lack of a better word, sins against the Union. And they were brought back in with full voting rights, full rights as a citizen, and he was vastly unpopular in the North for not lowering the boom. So if Lincoln can do it, the one that we throw up as the great emancipator, why can't the rest of us do it?
Before we go off air, I just gotta say it. Fuck the past.
Alright, so we're about to get ready to get into our segment 3. Who's leading us into the next segment?
Why not Kevin? He's doing such a great job tonight.
Well, in a lot of senses, it just sort of builds on both of these, which is tolerance. You know, tolerance. What are we hear all the time that we need to stop intolerance. We need to stop intolerance, and we're hearing it from people who are intolerant. And that's what I find troubling. And it's a big extension of both subjects, really. And it's how do we become a more tolerant society? How do we put things past us that we can't change?
Listen,
you know?
I mean, you mentioned tolerance, and I think, you know, I don't think there's a way to really deal with tolerance. Because we're going to be out there complaining about something. There's always going to be something out there for us to complain about. And
hey, you know, I'll be the first to say I'm not happy about everything, and I complain a little bit. But you know what? everybody has little, things that pee them off a little bit. But that's okay. We're voicing our opinion. I would expect everybody to still have an opinion. Because if they didn't, it would be a pretty dull world. But you know what? Tolerance to let them speak and feel the way they want to without fear of retribution, that's the key. That's what tolerance is. Right? I tolerate you, you tolerate me, you give me my minute, I give you yours. And at the end of the day, if I don't like what you have to say, or you don't like what I have to say, we can both agree to disagree.
And that's what it's all about. But, and Jem says, just be kind. What's being kind these days? Nobody really knows the meaning of being kind and being respectful or having the talk without arguing and having this, big fuss.
Well, the other night, Saturday night, me and Denise went to the movies and saw the movie, Ted 2. And we were in the parking lot, and the guy got out of his car, and he left the car door wide open. Well, Denise is sitting in the car, can't get out of the car to go and, to go up to the movie. And I just looked over at him, and I said, hey, pardon me, you don't mind closing your door just for a minute so my wife can get out? And he almost snapped at me, but I think he realized that I was just saying, hey, you don't mind, do you? Because I could have said something like,
you could have been rude about it.
I could have been very rude about it. But I know he didn't realize it. My windows are tinted. He probably couldn't see my wife in the car. And I said to him, hey, no big deal. I appreciate you opening the door. I know you probably couldn't see in my car because of my windows being tinted. Not a big deal. He's like, oh, thank you. Cool, man. That's the tolerant factor. It's too many people overreact. Too many people overreact about nothing at all and create something out of it.
Iceman, you were going to say something?
No, I am, but I was looking at something Jim posted a picture. But anyway, Mike is right, and it's not, and I've had this discussion many times before with students and with other adults, is that it's not the big gestures that mean the most. It's all the little gestures you do in life that mean the most. I mean, kindness really starts with, when you're out to dinner with your wife and your family or whatever, thank the server by name. Use their name. Because you know what? It's difficult to give you bad service if you're thanking them by name, or you're saying please or thank you, or you're recognizing that somebody's done something for you. It's hard to get mad at you when you're opening the door for somebody. It's hard to get mad at you when you're not going out of your way to be nice, you're just being nice. I held the door for a lady the other day at the Arlington YMCA, and you thought I had given her a gold coin. She looked at me like I'd lost my marbles. Then she smiled and said thank you. That's where it starts.
When's the last time somebody was on a first name basis, though you didn't know who they were, and you said, well, you're talking to them, my name's Mike, what's your name? In sales I do it all the time, and everybody looks at me like I'm crazy, that works around me. But I always say before that customer's leave, if I forgot to ask them their name and tell them my name, I always try to make sure before they leave, if I don't know their name, hey, by the way, what's your name? I'm Mike. Remember, if you have anything, you need anything, I'll be glad to take care of it for you. That first name basis factor, because when you're on a first name basis with somebody, you're more likely to treat them differently and receive the same treatment as far as how you're treating someone. So I would say everybody out there, just try getting on a first name basis. Like the person who calls you on the phone and from maybe the doctor's office or whatever, and they don't ask, they know your name, but they never announce who they are. When they do that, or I'm just calling to confirm your appointment, and your name is? And I'm from so-and-so. I said, and your name is? Well, thank you very much, Jennifer. I appreciate you calling me. I always do that because, it's all about having a rapport with that person. And always knowing that when you walk in, and I'm talking about this leads into tolerance. It's always about walking in the office after the confirmation of your appointment and saying, so you're Jennifer, how are you doing today? Mm-hmm. You called me on the phone so and so and so. And the tolerance factor comes in is how they treat you in retrospect to when you announce who you are. They remember you. Now their tolerance over the phone with you was all coming into play now. Yeah. Because they tolerated you asking them what their name was without getting all snappy at you.
Jem says, he said, just be kind. He also went on to say, I went to a store once. He says, I was nice to some woman. Later in the store, I saw her do something nice for someone else. And then that person did something nice for someone. So just kind of leading the...
Pay it forward. I always say to people, pay it forward. Somebody wanted to tip me or what can I... Oh, perfect example. I'm going to work the other day. to the gun range. And I get to the... I'm in traffic.
Yeah, work, gun range. I get those confused.
Well, it's by the same place. I was headed to Daytona. I know, but I'm going to the gun range, and the reason I said work is because the college, and I'm used to going to the college. That was work. I was going to pick up a teacher, who was a friend of mine that we go to the range together. And on the way, I come up to the light, and I see a lady do a double lane change. Okay, a double lane change, and then cut in front of this car. Cuts in front of the car. The light turns red. She slams on the brakes. And he has no option but the rear ender. When she cut in front of him, I probably could have put my hand in between and it would have touched. So I'm sitting at the light on the opposite corner watching all this, and I'm thinking, now, Lewis, I was in a major accident twice now, and got the blame for two things probably that weren't my fault, but I was at fault. And I'm thinking, as I had to make a right-hand turn and go past that intersection, I got to the school and I said, you know what, I need to turn around. I did the U-turn, came back to the scene of the accident. They'd already pulled through the light into an area where, it was out of the way. Mm-hmm. I cut around and came in behind the gentleman and he was a handyman. This was his work vehicle. And I walked up to him and he said, who are you? I said, are you okay? I said, I saw the accident. Are you okay? Because he looked pretty shaken. He said, I'm all right. I said, are you sure? You don't need me to call anybody for you? No, okay, I'm good. I said, do you have a pen and a piece of paper? He said, yeah. I said, take my phone number down. Here's my name. I saw the accident, and I have a feeling they're going to try to fault you for this accident. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't want that happening. I said, I've been through two of these like this. I said, I don't want to see it happen when I can do something about it. Mm-hmm. So the girl is in her car in front of us, and she's standing outside on the phone, and she sees me talking to him, and her mouth and her jaw just drop wide open, like that. Yeah. She knew, because I wasn't saying anything to her. I was talking to him. Mm-hmm. She knew exactly what was going on then. So I gave him all the information, and I left. I get back to the college. I go inside, and I'm sitting down waiting on Professor Alvarez to get out of class, and I get a phone call. It's the police department. They're calling me on a unknown number, and that's who I figured it was. So I answered the phone. The officer's talking to me. He said, so, Mr. Benson, you left your name and number with so-and-so and everything, and this is what I've gathered that, he rear-ended this young lady at the light. I said, no, sir. I said, the young lady did a double lane change. He said, pardon me? I said, she did not a single lane change. She did a double lane change, which is basically a triple lane change, because she cut over one lane, two lanes,
she just jumped
and
over.
Then, after the two lane changes, jumped in front of him in the turn lane. It was they were both in the turn lane. Into the turn lane, because she was going to try to make that light. Mm-hmm. The light turned red. She slammed on the brakes. And when she did, he had no option but the rear ender. I said he was only that far away. Mm-hmm. The police officer said, really? That's not the story I got. I said, well, I'll go to court on this one. I said, let me know when the court case is and I'll show up. Yeah. He said, oh, we don't need that. He said, you pulled over and gave a statement to the driver. I said, yeah, I told him for you to call me if you had any questions. He said, well, thank you very much. So the guy who I talked to, the guy who was in the accident with this young lady, calls me at about 5 o'clock that day when I just gotten home. And he said, quote, I don't know how to repay you. The man did nothing. He didn't do anything to deserve repaying me for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him that. I said, sir, you don't owe me anything. I said, it was my duty to do that. I said, I've been in a couple accidents where I really felt I was faulted for something I didn't do. I said, for seeing what took place with you, that was just incredible. I just didn't, I was taken by that. I said, so you telling me you owe me something for doing something that was right, the right thing to do? No. I said, if you need anything in the future, you be sure and call me and let me know. You have my phone number. I said, he said, well, I'm a handyman. I can do anything. I'll do whatever you need me to do. I said, you're a businessman who's in business to do what you need to do. He said, I don't have a lot of money. I said, and I kept saying, sir, I did this because I needed to do that for you because you did nothing wrong. He said, thank you. And he said, I still don't know how to repay you. I said, pay it forward. Help someone else. And he said,
just pay it forward.
Yeah, and he said, thank you. That's what I'll do. You know, so I got a good feeling. I was just, really had a good feeling that day after that. I didn't ask him to call me back. I didn't ask for that. But, when you get that for doing something that you didn't have to do and paying it forward. So that's where that tolerance comes in, that, I didn't have to do any of that. I didn't even have to tolerate going back. People look, well, what do you mean tolerance? Well, that is tolerance, because what took place with me, I paid it forward. Now it should keep that circle going of paying it forward. And people need to be tolerant of other people, because what that girl did was just blatant lie to the police officer after the fact when she knew what she did.
Yeah, because they wanted to put money in their pockets, so they're going to lie out of their asshole.
Exactly. So that's...
And let me tell you something. Not many people out there really appreciate, somebody coming forward and, giving a testimony or to kind of help them out in the situation. So that was nice of you to do that.
Well, and I saw, but I stood at the, and the weirdest thing is I stood at the light when the light turned green. I saw everybody take off. I was like, nobody stopped.
Yeah, because nobody cared. No, they don't give a damn.
They don't.
I bet you.
They don't want to get involved.
Yeah.
That's what it amounts to.
Yeah, but if it happened to them, then then they want somebody to pull over and be a witness.
Exactly.
Well, some people look at it and say, I'm not going to get involved because someone else will, and that's wrong, because if you sit back and wait until someone else gets involved, nothing gets fixed.
So, but I yeah, Kevin, we lost Kevin.
I think we lost. I thought we lost Sir Kevin. Just you and I. Hey, Jim says, this is one of the main reasons why I love adminning here on the website on Tuesday nights. He says, I love Tuesday nights, so he loves being around. He says he loves our show.
Jim, thank you. I thank you for tolerating us tonight. I'm kidding, Jim. I'm kidding.
No, but we do appreciate it, man. We love to be here on Tuesday nights, man, and like I said, this is the reason why we are here. This is the reason why we do this program, to educate you guys and talk about real freaking incidents, real life issues that that happen right now. And
you know where tolerance comes in? Our families who allow us to do this and tolerate us for this night, knowing we don't get paid to do this, that DJ just keeps all the money in his pocket.
Oh yeah, that's what I do.
Even Kevin's laughing.
Kevin's not even here. Kevin's disconnected still.
His picture's laughing.
He's here in spirit.
Exactly.
But we do want to let you guys know something. This is actually going to be the last Tuesday night we're going to be broadcasting for 4 weeks. We're going to be taking a little bit of a break. I need to, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little burnt out. Just a little bit, not too much. But there's a lot of stuff that we need to do, that I need to take care of behind the scenes with the radio program. With brand new software. I'm actually going to be updating with brand new cameras, so now you get to see the professor in high definition, and you'll be able to catch me in a lot more high definition cameras. Also, we're going to be doing some just some changes with the website. We got some new commercials. We got to do some more booking. There's a lot of stuff that's happening behind the scenes with the radio program. And also, too, as I mentioned to Professor and to Kevin, I'm officially going to be giving them titles, so they're going to be in charge of things, and we're going to be just focusing on a bunch of new things on the program. We got somebody right in here. Oh, Shakira's winking at her eye at us right now. I guess she meant hello. But we're going to be taking a bit of a break. We're going to be, tonight will be our last broadcast for Tuesday nights. But we will be back on August the 4th, which is a Tuesday night. And within this time, yeah, Jim says, oh, we're making it a real business. Yep, yeah, you can say that. But in the meantime, I personally feel that I need to work with Professor and I need to work with Kevin a little bit on their broadcasting skills, because my focus is I want them to get into broadcasting. I want them to start their own programs and do stuff too. So I want to go ahead and start teaching them the software, which I think is very, very important, because let's just say one evening, you know, I decide I'm sick or under the weather, or I'm going on vacation or something. I don't want to have to say, listen, there's not going to be a broadcast tonight. I could just say, hey, you know what, Kevin and Mike are going to take over for the show and just have a freaking good time doing it. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have to like rely on me. They'll have everything that they need to go ahead moving forward with future broadcasts.
All right, I'm back.
I know, I see that.
I don't want to tick off a potential sponsor, but I can't stand AT&T.
Well, AT&T's not a sponsor, so it's okay.
They'll never be a sponsor of this show, I doubt it.
Well,
yeah, we can't stand AT&T.
Neither one of us. We've had our battles.
I'm switching over to a new service on Friday, so we'll see how that works out.
But I will say I have been very, very pleased with Bright House Broadcasting Network.
Except for last night, I kept getting signal drop and everything. Even today,
really?
TV. Yeah, for my internet last night, and then my TV today, I kept getting signal drop. So the rocket that went up, it's been funky ever since that rocket exploded. We've had issues with servers and stuff going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know.
But you just came to tune back in, Kevin. But you kind of missed the very nice comment that Jim made. He says the reason why he loves tuning in on Tuesday night and being admin over on the website is because he really enjoys our show very, very much, and he wished there was more shows like us out there that broadcast this well on Tuesday. So. We do thank you, Jim, so much for doing such a great job as being an admin.
It's Jim tonight, not Doc.
Well, Doc was there for a short time.
Yeah.
And if you like our show, remember to hit the thumbs up thingy or the subscribe thingy.
Jim says it'll be nice to kind of get us broadcasting on JustCast every single night. That is something that I am working on. So hopefully when we come back in August 4th, we'll be able to start broadcasting 24 hours. So you'll get us all day long.
And of course, on August 4th, you're only going to get Mike and Lewis, because I will be in the middle of the Caribbean.
He's going on another cruise, man!
Well, we won't be doing, you talking about August 4th or August 24th?
August 4th.
August 4th, okay. Say August...
He'll be on another cruise. Jem says bite him.
Well, the 24th, I won't be doing the show on August 24th.
Yeah, I'm aware. You said you're going away, right? Were you going away?
No,
no, the surgery.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of stomach problems again, so...
So, yeah, Mike's going to be away the 24th. So, he may be away for like a week or two. He's going to be undergoing surgery again. So, we want him to get better.
It'll be a week. I'll be back the following week.
Well, don't overdo yourself. You know, I'm very understanding.
I should have the results by then.
And here's what Lewis would say. Don't come back if you're on antibiotics or pain meds, because the studio has never been the same since.
Listen, I do not want to smell.
Hey, you know, it has nothing to... I mean, it really doesn't have much to do with all that. I mean, I'm not on them now, and my stomach is just really... I'm having issues, guys. I'm having issues. I'm in pain right now, so...
Well, that's not cool.
Yeah, that's not good. Jim says he wishes you well with your surgery, Professor. And Shakira says, wink. She says, I get you all to myself on a Tuesday. LOL.
Whoop, whoop. That's what my wife said for all of July.
Listen, and if you ever, either one of you guys are off and you guys got something planned, you need time away, like Professor's going away on, Kevin's going away on his cruise, we'll have Shakira jump in and join us.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I was just thinking. This would be a good opportunity to get her back in the seat again. Just as long as we clean it first.
Yeah.
Well, usually she's sitting on the DJ's lap when she's on the show. So.
Hey, I don't mind that, baby. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, baby.
It's the way it is.
Jeff says, why not have Webcam Whitney in that seat?
Webcam Whitney? Not.
I think...
She probably gets more play on our network than she does on her YouTube channel.
Yeah, I think so.
Jeez, I tell you. I don't know, man. Webcam Whitney, we've been trying to get her on, but she hasn't really been responding to any of our messages. I think, was it you, Kevin, who wrote to her, or was it Jim? I think Jim was asking...
Jim?
I think Jim was asking her, and she was like, what do you want me on the show for?
Well, see, if you want me to contact her, I'll be more than happy to contact her and say, look, we want to have you on because, there are people out there talking about your show. We want to know what it's all about.
We want to know what the hell is wrong with you.
As long as she'll do a show while we're on the never mind.
Yeah, we'll actually get her to dance.
I would really have to have...
Remember, the views expressed by the hosts do not necessarily represent our advertisers or the network.
I tell you.
Yeah, we would have to show a lot of tolerance that night.
Oh, man. I can see nothing but trouble. But I do got a couple of guests that I got playing coming on. Actually, our former radio show host that used to be on the show with me, Ms. D, she was on the program with me when I did the TV show. And then she did the beginning first year.
I got her on my page.
She wrote a book, so I'm trying to get her to come on the show and talk about it and stuff. So we'll see. Well, I'll try to get her on for when you guys are both around. How about that?
Hey.
That'll be awesome because I know you guys want to, you guys enjoy that type of stuff. But in the meantime, guys, we're gonna get ready to head out of here. Thank you guys so much for everything. Again, this will be our last broadcast. For a month or so, we'll be back. There's going to be a lot of updating, a lot of things happening behind the scenes. When we come back, the professor and Kevin should have a little bit of knowledge in broadcasting. Hopefully, cross my fingers. And all will go well. And we'll start getting them video blogging. Mike's rolling his eyes. Yeah, sometimes you got to work with people a little bit, longer than others.
Hey, sometimes it takes me a little bit longer, but when I do...
When you get it, you get it.
No, when I get it, it's good.
Oh, Lord. Shoot me now.
When that light bulb goes off.
Oh, Lord.
Light, camera, action, baby, because it's on. Yeah.
So, Professor and Mike, so you guys both know, because I know once we go off the air, Kevin's going to disappear. Poof! He'll be gone off of Skype. But we're going to be doing a bunch of voiceovers, a bunch of new things. So I'll talk about you guys about that.
So I need to get my commercial voice going?
What's that?
I need to get that commercial voice going.
You better get it warmed up, buddy.
So you telling me I need to stay on afterwards? I don't mind.
Well, I mean, you can. I mean, we don't have to talk about it tonight. Right. We can talk about it another day.
We can Skype in it one day, like a Tuesday or something.
Yeah, we can always discuss it. But I definitely want to get with you guys soon because I want to get you guys rolling on the broadcasting.
Yeah, you're right. I disappear quick because Deadliest Catch is on, man. I can't miss that.
Don't you? Do you have Bright House or you're AT&T?
He's AT&T right now. He's
all the way.
Yeah, we're about to have the evil Comcast.
Are you AT&T phone everything?
Uverse, yeah, we've got cell, internet, all that stuff.
When they gave me crap with my internet, I canceled my phone service. That really... Why are you doing that? Well, because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you damn
right.
Well,
after losing internet connectivity during a show twice, it's over.
Yeah.
But I do want to get, get you set up in your home too, Mike, with your monitors.
You can come over. I got my office.
Yeah, I'm going to help you get set up and get focused and get whatever software you need to get set up. Kevin, we'll talk about what you may need to get to kind of help you out a little bit. And see what computer you're running on, what your specs are. We'll go from there and try to
Kevin will probably be close to I-4 here soon. He can just jaunt right over and take a peek.
Listen, we need to go out and have dinner. It'll be on me, my treat. We need to go out and do something.
Kevin's
face.
Do we go to Jacksonville or does Kevin come here?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Not a problem. But with that being said, guys, we're going to head out of here. Don't forget, if you enjoy our program and you enjoy what we do here, please take the time to donate, become a sponsor, because every little bit helps with our program, especially with all the major updates and stuff that we got coming up soon. I'm thinking about doing a 24-hour broadcast again, so we need to kind of get together soon. What are you looking at me like that for?
Just the way you're getting... Got to do a 24-hour broadcast soon.
Well, there's reasons why.
I'm good.
With that being said, guys, thank you guys for your support. For more information, head on over to our official website, www.102dlgradioorlando.com. Shakira says, Mickey D's, it's your treat. Oh, man. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Look for us up on Twitter. You can look us up under the radio program under DLG Radio Orlando. DLG Radio Orlando. And then, Kevin, you can go ahead and say yours.
I am at Tapee K.
And Mike,
T-A-P-E-E-K.
And what's yours, Mike?
The Professor at Michael 120564. That's.
Oh, see, I didn't think he was gonna remember. I'm so proud of you, Mike. You're growing up. All right, guys. Exactly. Well, guys, thank you guys so much, Mike, Professor. Thank you guys for everything that you guys do for the show. We'll see you guys in 1 month's time. With that being said, we'll see you guys soon. We're gonna take you out of here with some Mono Lizzie, because I love this damn freaking song. Check this out, y'all. We'll see you guys soon. Much love, y'all.
Shop your way with eBay and get your goodies today. Get all your special deals by going over to our official website, www.102dlgradioorlando.com. Click on that eBay icon and get started today.
What's up, guys? DJ Friktion here to remind you, if you really enjoy what we do here at 102.DLG Radio, take the time to support our program by going over to our official website, www.102dlgradioorlando.com. and donate today. That's right, some of y'all. Go on over and donate today and show your love for the show, y'all. And we'll keep doing what we do here. Much love.